Coach, all through the spring and throughout the summer, the teammates have said how much Davison's kind of turned heads and kind of become leader and playing not as a true freshman. From your eyes and perspective, how have you seen him grow since he's been here?
Yeah, I mean, he's been here since January, so if he hasn't grown, we got issues. Every kid is since January, we would hope would grow. He's in a great competition with 11 other corners in camp, and got to fight every day. But yeah, he's grown. He's grown since January. He's out there competing. It's good to see him do that, just like everybody else.
Chris, we don't get a chance to talk to you very often, but how excited are you to be calling the shots on this defense this fall?
Just as excited as I was last year. I just look to do my part and contribute any way I can. So I'm fired up. I think we got a great bunch. We got 52 guys in camp, and they're all competing. They're all hungry. We want to be violent. We want to be aggressive. We want to make plays. So I don't get any more excited for my role. I just do the role that is asked of me, and my role is to call the shots and call the defense, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
It looks like you're going to have a lot of depth on that defensive line. And I want to ask you just about the moves y'all have made in the portal to bring guys in, as well as recruiting defensive linemen. It's really turned that unit around in the last 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, big time. Obviously, in the SEC, it all goes, starts up front. So if you can't win up front, you'd be in trouble. And the other thing is you got to play a lot of guys. I mean, we play hard, we move around. So these guys, you need to build depth, and we feel really good about it. Again, we got a bunch of guys in camp. We got 16 D linemen in camp, and they're all competing. So they all got to show themselves out, and we hope that we can play 10 or 11 of them in a game. So that's that's what we're looking for right now is who's going to step up and be guys that we can count on in the crunch time.
Lane kind of challenged the linebackers back in the spring. Just kind of what have you seen from them? I know it's only 2 practices, but now that you have all of the freshmen and some of the guys back from injury, where does that group kind of stand in your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, like anyone else. I mean, I'm not ready to call, who the best group on our defense is and who's not or anything. I mean, I challenge those guys every day. I mean, we want greatness. That's it. There's no mediocrity at any point in this program. That's not what we're about. So we challenge each group every single day. Those guys get challenged. They get coached hard. We recruit guys that can take coaching. If we feel like you can't take coaching, you're not going to fit here. So I like what I see. They're running around. Again, they're competing. Everybody's in the mix. So we'll play the best guys that we can. If it's multiple guys, if we got to rotate, we'll rotate. If guys stand out, then they get the majority of the stops. But the bottom line is we want to build depth in this defense, and we want to play a lot of guys. So we want a lot of roles for a lot of guys.
Having coached A.J. Finley for a couple of years, what's that next step you're looking for him to take as a player, just as a leader on the defense?
I love A.J. A.J.'s awesome. He's gonna be a great pro one day. His next step is just to take the bull by the horns and take the reins and lead this thing. Go make plays. Go be aggressive. Go see things out there. Communication. It's all those things. We've taken AJ to a higher level of understanding, and he's the leader back there, and he does a hell of a job. So I'm expecting a big year from him.
Just coming off the AJ question, I mean, you guys have some horses back there in the back end of that defense. Just talk about that secondary, if you will.
Yeah, they won't play if they won't hit you. That's number one. So we want to be violent. We want to come out of the secondary. We want to knock the crap out of people. So that's the number one thing that we're looking for. Again, same thing, experience, depth, portal, freshmen. It's a whole collective group. We'll play a lot of guys if we can, or we'll play guys that earn it and do what we ask. But we ask a lot of those guys, and they come and they play. I'm excited about them, just like I am in every position group.
Coach, you mentioned a minute ago about recruiting guys that can take coaching. How do you know that? And in this day of NIL and easy transferring, isn't it all a crapshoot or gamble?
Well, shoot, I would hope not, or we're not as good as at our jobs as we'd like to be. You got to take time. You got to take time and get to know guys, and not just take them because of what they're ranked or what you think about them. You got to get to know them. You got to coach them. Any guy I recruit, I like coaching. I like to see how he's going to respond to what I'm telling him. And it doesn't have to be X's and O's. I'm not talking. I mean, I guess the proper term is teaching. I like teaching while I'm recruiting, because seeing how they respond, right? Seeing how they respond to their peers, their coaches in their high school. Talking to everybody, talking to every single person that they've touched if they're a transfer, right? Talking to their parents, getting the feel to see how their parents raised them. It's the full gamut of stuff. And the beauty and what I love about Lane, and he really taught me this or even honed it in even more, is like, if this kid's a great player, but he's not going to be coachable and he can't learn what we want him to learn, or he doesn't fit into our program, we're not going to take him, right? I mean, I think people will be astonished at the kids that we've turned down here because they don't fit in our program. Right? So I think that's what we do the best, and that's why when guys get in here, they can mesh together, and they can fit together because they're all like-minded. So we work really hard at doing that.
Chris, some of the players have said that they sense that this is going to be a more aggressive defense than maybe it was a year ago. I was just kind of curious your philosophy about blitzing, attacking, as opposed to a more conservative approach, how that's developed for you over your stops at Michigan and here and other places.
I think like anything, experience is everything for somebody. So it's just every coach that I've touched, everybody that I've been a part of, all the way back to my college defensive coordinator, has a little influence on how you like to do things and call things and set things up. But when it comes to like blitzing, I mean, that it's irrelevant. Like if we win the first game by dropping 11, we're gonna drop 11, right? If we're ahead, we're not gonna just take like senseless shots and do things just to do them. We're gonna prepare. We're gonna look at the opponent. We're gonna see what's best, and we just got to build the defense that's able to be adaptable to do what we need to do. So we're not gonna be one-dimensional, but we're also not gonna just do stuff because it's a mentality like, no, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to hit people, right? But that doesn't mean bringing pressure, right? That means understanding angles and doing the right thing. I mean, there might be times we bring a bunch of pressure. There might be times we don't bring any pressure, right? I think that's what a great defense is. They can do a variety of different things.
It seemed like last year so much of the conversation and motivation was about playing with a chip on your shoulder after having a bad year. When you guys are coming off a little better of a year defensively, is it hard to still play with that? Does the motivation change, or how do you kind of keep that mentality going on a defense that's experienced a little more success?
Yeah, I mean, there is no success unless you're the best. So, I mean, we weren't the best. So, yeah, we play with a chip on our shoulder, right? And then even when you're the best, you got to keep going. That's the beauty about the game of football, man. It humbles you every single day. So every play, every rep, it humbles you, right? You can be great for 10 plays in a row and then give up a big play, give up a touchdown, right? Game in, game out, year in, year out. So you can't get caught up into, oh, we improve. Like, yeah, okay, we improve, but okay, so what can we do to be better now? What can we improve the improvement on, right? So I think it's easy for these guys to play with a chip on their shoulder. And again, it goes back to who we're recruiting, the type of player we're bringing in here. But, I think, yeah, we do got a chip on our shoulder. That's how you have to live in this sport, right? You got to have a chip on your shoulder or someone will humble you immediately.
Yeah, this kind of goes back to the recruiting and the teaching thing that you brought up. But just talking to a couple guys yesterday, they said that one of the reasons that they really like you is that you don't sugarcoat things and that you say what's on your mind and that they really appreciate that. I guess where does that kind of come from, and why do you find that to be the effective way of doing things?
Yeah, I mean, clarity is power, man. I just think, like, you give these guys clarity and you show them the good and the bad. Just like, when you're being raised. I mean, your parents are going to be honest with you. They're not going to hide things from you. I just think, you're as clear as possible with these guys, and they learn to trust you and they understand. I mean, our job as coaches is to look at the ceiling of a football player and break them clear through what they even think they can reach. And not even just a football player, as a man. So I think we've established a program here that, constantly is talking about life in football and constantly telling them what's real is out there. Because, when we get these guys, I mean, they're young men, right? They're not grown men. They haven't seen it all. So you got to show your experiences and tell them exactly, what's going on, whether it's in the world or in football, and give them as much clarity as possible. And if they do that, at the moment, in that one conversation, if they don't like it, they might might go home and get upset, but eventually they see it, right? Eventually they understand, well, no, coach, he ain't messing with me. He ain't lying to me. You know, there's a plan. There's a reason for everything we're doing. So I think I preach that constantly to everyone around. Just, you know, be clear, be concise, give them a plan, give them a personal plan, give them a defensive plan, give them a position plan. You know, be all in on making them understand, you know, what the mission is. We good? All right, guys.